Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining this session. Today, we're still looking at That Podcast's website. And for the last few sessions, we've been doing some things related to content uploading, file storage, that sort of thing. And so far, I've not been super happy with the built-in packages, or not built-in, but the third-party bundles for handling this kind of content with Symfony. We have the Easy Admin bundle that we've been working with. We tried this uploader bundle first. We also tried the oneup uploader, and it's just not working out very well. I'm a little disorganized, unfortunately. Where's it at? I've been away for a week for PHP CE, so I had some time to do some analog planning for today. So what I'd like to do is see what we can do for some Pristine Media handling on the episodes, and doing essentially just a library rather than trying to do something more integrated and expected to be uploaded, because that's been the core problem with the built-in, the pre-existing packages that I've looked at. Let me see if I can pull up the code that we're working on, episode number. All right, so we're in the right project. Yeah, so if we look at our command, we have an import command to get code in from the export. So if we look at our production application, export.json, what we see here is this import. We have the media hosted elsewhere currently, and we also have background images. So the first interface with the episode model is actually coming from an import. So the hoops that we've had to jump through in order to get the background image downloaded and attached correctly was just really sort of obnoxious. I have not been super happy with this. Yeah, so I mean, we had to get the media URL if it was HTTPS. I guess this part was all sort of to be expected, but we had to actually generate a new Symfony file, I believe. Is this? Yeah, a new uploaded file, and then set the background image file, in this case, to the new uploaded file. And all of the actual work for converting this file into something meaningful for the model itself was actually handled in Doctrine listeners. And this is very much not, it's not the way I'd like for this to go down. I think where we left it last, let me double check here. Let's see. Yeah, so we had actually worked with a new, is there a new migration? No, we were using oneup uploader. And yeah, I don't think we actually got very far on this. So I think what I'd like to do is probably remove this. Kind of roll back to where we were before. 0 to 1, all. Yeah, I don't think there was anything that we did in the last session that was at all remotely interesting. All right. So what I'm going to do is let's get rid of that. So this is apparently in a broken state as far as Git was concerned. I'm going to remove these. We don't need them, so we're not going to use this uploader bundle. Well, really? Oh, because those aren't existing yet, so we're not going to Git remove them. There we go. All right, so we're in kind of a somewhat clean state. Let's go ahead and compose our install just to make sure that it's all updated again. Awesome. Okay, so let's kind of sketch out some of the ideas here so that everybody knows kind of what I'm thinking. I'm just going to drop this probably below here. And so what I'd like to do is have a URL or have a text URL. So I want to have something like Flysystem episodes. I'm just taking I'm writing down exactly what I have in my notes, but they're actually handwritten. Peg, type, PNG, and well, let's do this. JPEG. There we go. So everything that we need is stored on here. So what I would like to do is give these names. Let's go ahead and give the name for Flysystem equals, well, Flysystem is just the scheme that we're going to use. Episodes is going to be the actual Flysystem file system. Episodes and say B, C1, 2, that is slash JPG is going to be the path, and then the content type and content length. So the only thing that we're not really able to support here super well is the width and height for images, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. So I'm just going to leave this like it is. All right, so let's see if I can do code here. Okay, so select language. Let's do PHP. I've not tried this before, so we'll see how it goes. So static public function. So one of the things that I know we need to be able to do is generate a path. So we need to do something special if a path happens. So we'll do generate background image path. We're going to pass in an episode with episode. Actually, you know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to create a scratch file in PHP Storm. I think that'll be easier. So let's go to scratch file. There we go. I don't remember how to change the type of this file. I'm not going to worry about that. So type. So we're going to pass in an episode and a file name. And load. And so this is going to mostly mimic what we were doing otherwise. What we were doing previously. So we'll do episode get UID. So this would be the background image. I'm actually going to make this deeper than it was previously. And one of the things that I think we need to be able to do is do they call it transliteration. So let me see what episode looked like before, because we already had some of these. So let's do namer. I think that, no? I thought we had those already. Ah, here we go. No. Huh. Updated. unless I undid that somehow, but I don't think I did. Ah, here, get background image directory. So right now we're just doing get GUID. The thing that used this, I'm going to see if we can actually legally borrow that code. So floater bundle. So what we need to do is find out, I think it's called transliteration. Let's see if that's test, templating, helper, storage, naming, unique name ID, directory namer interface. Property namer. Wow, see, there's a lot here. So transliterate. Where's their transliterator? So util. I don't see an actual license on this. So let's see what the license is on the whole package. See the bundled license file. All right, let's check composer. License MIT. All right, so I feel confident in being able to borrow this. Split names by extension, transliterate. So it's using Behat's transliterator. Wow. Okay. This is its own package. All right, let's use that then. I'm pretty happy just using that. Let's see what how they use it. File name separator. Okay, so the extension. File utils. Okay. All right, so I'll see if I can use this same functionality. All right, so where were we at? Go back to Scratch file. There we go. All right, so we'll use Behat transliterate. You know, I wonder if it actually, let's check out their code because I might not have to break things up like this. Oh, it's just an abstract class. Yeah, transliterator. Oh, I guess that's interesting. So I'm guessing they're using an abstract class just so that people don't try to create a new instance of transliterator. All right, so transliterate, generate a slug from a text after transliterate. Use transliteration tables. Separator. Huh. All right, so I'm just going to leave it like it is, I think. I'm going to use my original idea here. And we'll do transliterator, transliterate. I'm going to do the same thing. Oof. That's not right. And then the file name. I think that's where the problem is, that if I don't take the extension off of the file name, then it may transliterate the dot. So we'll do file name without extension, and then return well, anyway, we'll actually make this proper later. So this is just translating my notes currently. So we need to be able to get or generate the URL here. One thing that I think we need to do is also put this in the episodes directory. This was something I hadn't quite fixed or figured out on my own yet on my notes, but I think we'll do this. So episodes. So if we look at the, let's see here, this bit, so what we would be generating based on this would be using, this is actually generating this part here. So this would be, okay, cool. All right, so then I also kind of mocked up how I wanted to actually use this. So I didn't come up with a better name than Flysystem Asset Manager, which probably going to want to change this. But this would be something that I would actually put in the controller, or this is something I put in the command. So we're going to say episode. We're going to get this from something. We don't really know yet. So episode equals ... and then uploaded file. Actually, we'll say maybe do actual file. Actually, this is all going to be the controller. So I will stick with uploaded file. Uploaded file equals, and this is going to be a Symfony uploaded file. And I kind of wrote this all out just to sort of get an idea of what kind of API I wanted for this. So we'll do this. $file. So we're ultimately going to end up with a file instance. And this file instance is going to be based on one of these URL strings that will contain we'll be able to contain everything it needs in order to be able to interact with the file behind the scenes. So we'll do file equals this Flysystem Asset Manager create file. So we're just going to be creating an instance of the file. So we're going to do episodes, and this is going to be the Flysystem file system name. We have so this will be using this path or this function now. So we'll do episode, and we're using uploaded file. Uploaded file get original name. I don't remember what the actual function is, or what the actual method name is there. And then we're going to do the content type and content length, and we're going to get that from the headers. So we'll do uploaded file headers get, we'll do content type, and same thing with content length. And we'll have to do some more sanity checking here a little bit as well. But ultimately what we're going to have at this point is a file that is capable of generating the string that represents where this file will be created. So then after this, we do list width, height. We're doing this all procedurally now. We're not going to be relying on doctrine events or any other events just yet to get this information. So we're just going to have an actual proper controller that is going to generate this stuff for us. So get image size, uploaded file, and then this is going to be whatever the path is to the actual file. So get temp name, whatever it is, it's going to be the actual physical location of the file on disk. And then we can do episode set background image file. And then we'll do episode set background image width. All right, and then we should be able to actually write to the file. So in this case, we're abstracting the file abstraction of Flysystem. Let's fix that little typo. That's awesome. Here we go. So now we're going to do Flysystem Asset Manager, and then we're going to do write write from file, and then we're going to use the temp file name, whatever that is. So it's actually going to be getting the file from disk at this point, since we still have access to it. So this is the part where we'll actually write to the correct URL. The other methods that I see being on this Flysystem Asset Manager that will be useful for us will be write from file, and then write from stream. Actually, I'm going to need to do file. Stream. Let's see, we also need a get stream and generate URL. And the URL is going to be the thing that will be the public URL, not this string that we've sort of generated, but this will be what we can actually use on something like this will be something that we can use on like Twig or something like that. So the way that I see that working is in the Flysystem Asset Manager, I'm foreseeing us passing in a mapping. So we'll do whatever the Flysystem manager is going to be, so so that we can ask it for the file system that represents episodes, for example. So we're going to pass in Flysystem, and then we're going to pass in mapping. So we'll do episodes, and this is going to be specifically for URL mapping. So mapping, and then this will allow me to do, I think that's what it's going to be, and we'll do asset URL episodes. So that would be set in .env. And we'll do set URL episodes. Actually, we might not need to do that mapping. Well, we will just in case we want to have multiple later. So this would be, in my case, or my local case, uploads dot that podcast dot test, so that when we do say I don't know, we can't use asset as the name. So let's do image source equals that podcast content, and we'll need to know the type. So actually we don't. We'll do podcast content, episode dot background image. Let's see, what did we do? We're doing set background image, so we'll get that back out. So we'll be passing in essentially this file instance that we have here, where we created this file instance, and that should have all of the information to get this information back out. Let's see, let's fix up some of these little errors. So this is sort of the interface that I'd like to actually build for this. The way that this would be working from the context of our command instead of the controller will be similar to this. So we'll do and let's sketch out what we want it to look like for doing this from a command. It's going to be very similar, but we won't be dealing with file system or uploaded file in that case. All right. So this file system create file, we're still going to use the episodes file system. We will still get the uploaded file's original name, so that's where things get different. So we'll do episode, and we'll say exported episode. And then I can't remember how to get the last item, but anyway, we'll do file name. Exported file name. And we'll have to get the content type somehow. So extract. Let's see, what are we doing right now? Because I think we can use the response object from our ingest command, because we're doing client uploaded file get. I don't remember if we get a response here, but I would guess I guess get doesn't return. No, it should return a response interface. Why is this undefined variable? Oh, there we go. Get header. Okay, yeah, so we'll just do that. So, all right, so file name equals that. We'll just assume that we get a response from the actual file. So then we can do response, get header. So we're getting it from the response headers from our download. Length. All right, so that would create that. We actually write it into temp file. So let's get that here. So episode, where do we get the URL? I think we're gonna have to do something about that, because that's not gonna work anymore. Well, I'll worry about that later. All right, so temp name. So temp file is where we're actually writing it to. So we would be able to do temp file to get the width and height. And then write from file, TMP file. All right, so we're doing the same thing. We're just getting the source information from somewhere else. So I think what we need to do, right now the way it was working is we were overloading the information from get background image URL to bootstrap everything. So I'm not going to do anything with background image URL. I think what we're going to do is work with the Pristine Media first, because that's one that we haven't done. So first of all, I think I'm going to build out this Flysystem asset manager. Let's see, what did I call the twig extension here? Let's do there. We'll call it that. So Flysystem asset manager. Let's put that where? Let's just do top level, I guess. And new class. And let's copy in the functions that we wanted. So right from file, where were those? Here we go. So right from file, path. And let's type this as file, which is going to not exist just yet, but that's okay. Write file from stream, right from stream. Get stream. And get URL. All right, so we have this interface created now that we're expecting. We need to create the file itself. So let's create a file class. All right. And we need the bits of data here. So let's do Flysystem. We'll do our file system. Let me see if that should be. See if that's one word. I think it is. Okay. So we'll do file system. We need the path. We need the content type and content length. So these are all required bits of data. The file system is going to be a string. Path is a string. Let's see here. Content type is going to be an integer. And same thing for content length. Let's go ahead and create a constructor using all of these. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and create getters. And public function. Create from URI. And so this is going to allow us to pass in one of these URLs and have it figure everything out for us. So string path. I can't remember. It's the PHP parse URL function, because this should get us everything that we need. It might be parse returns associated today, retaining any various components. All right, so now what did they say? Return value. Actually, I'm going to use these. So let's do return new static. So we need to pass in the file system. So that would be, I think it's the host part, right? Yeah. So we'll do PHP URL host, parse URL. And then we need the component URL host. We need the path. So that's PHP URL path. There we go. I don't remember how to get the URL query. I don't remember. Parse string, parse URL. We need parse string. There we go. So let's change this to URL. So it's consistent with the PHP side of things, I guess. URL. We'll do query query. We'll just call it query, and then we will do $query. Let's see, how was I encoding this? Content type. All right, content type and query content length. And actually, I think I messed this up. Content type shouldn't be an int. This should be a string. Get content type. All right, so we should be able to pass in this value and get something out from it. The thing that we could do also is, what's this say? Missing return tag. Return file. I'll try return static. If, let's see, what do we have here? So we had Flysystem. So if Flysystem is not equal to parse URL, let's see, it was PHP URL scheme, then we should throw new valid argument exception. Scheme. Let's do sprintf here. Must be So this is just doing a little bit of checking to make sure that we're not trying to parse something that doesn't make sense. There we go. And now we should be good to go. All right, so we're going to try and map this to our Pristine Media. Now, we don't have a lot of time for this, but let's go ahead and see what we can do. I want to see if we have... the Pristine Media table, or information added to the table already. Podcasts, episode. We have Pristine. No, we don't. At least I don't think we do. Let's do... All right, so let's see what it actually created here. Pristine Media. So it does, it's adding stuff if we let it. So we haven't done that yet. So we should be good to go. But that does mean we do have information in our episode already for Pristine Media. So let's just look for Pristine Media updated. I don't think we want to do that. We might need to, but not right now. So this is a map field by entity metadata. I'm not going to map it to an uploaded field. So what this was doing, this was actually creating things that we had in the migration, because this was adding episode Pristine Media as the field name, and then it was using pristinemedia.name, pristinemedia.size. We're not going to do all of that, so I'm going to remove this entirely. And then this was where it was actually embedding something called Pristine Media as an object. Pristine Media file goes new embedded file. We're not going to do that. Let's see where else we have. Not going to deal with that. We're not going to get the file. Not going to set the file. Not going to get the embedded file. No setter for that. So let's see where else. Okay. All right, so I think we should be good to go. If we try to run a diff now, I think it might just be that silly thing that we had. Yeah, so it just has this add SQL schema public nonsense. So let's remove this. Oh. It was way more complicated than it needed to be. All right, so let's see. On the entity itself, the interface that we had defined in our Scratch file was setting background image. So if we want to change all instances of background image to Pristine Media, preserve case, replace all. So set Pristine Media is going to be a file. I think what I want to do is make this be a virtual field, so you can pass in file. The actual item that will be stored in the database is going to be set Pristine Media URL, and that will be file to URL. And so that's actually going to be something that we'll have to add to our file also. Eventually, our file object eventually will be to a URL. So this is going to be the actual property database, and this is going to be virtual. So for the most part, this is going to be the thing that we'll be working with programmatically. Behind the scenes, it's going to be creating these Pristine Media URL strings. Hopefully that works. So let's go ahead and go back to our episode entity, and let's create a background image URL. So let's copy this to, where are we at? There we go. Here, but we'll call it Pristine Media. Background image to Pristine Media. All right. Let's go ahead and create some getters and setters. Publish date, background image. Did I get too aggressive there? Background. No. Okay. I guess we just don't have getters and setters for that. All right, so we have the part to actually set this value. The thing that we don't have yet is the set Pristine Media height. Let's do, where's the, there we go, the actual URL part. So let's do this URL. Instead, we'll do function get Pristine Media. This is going to return a file. And return file. Let's do this one. Create from URL this URL. Wait, no, this Pristine Media URL. So this will ensure that we actually get a file instance from the URL. And then we need to also set, like function set Pristine Media. Give it a file. But we need the right kind of file. Looks like we already have a file in the mix here, so we're gonna have to rename it here. So let's go to, get rid of the embedded file, use this as Flysystem Asset Manager file. Yay for verbose. Let's do, what was it? There we go. Return value is expected to be, yeah, okay, that's fine. There we go. And so, there we go. All right, so we're going to be passed a file in this case. Let's turn this self, and we'll do this Pristine Media URL equals file to URL. So now we're going to go back to our file command. Turned out we did need this, so we'll do it right now. To URL, and we can do return printf. %s. Let's see here. So this was file system, path, content type, length. There we go. All right, so I think we have all of the bits here that we need, which makes me pretty happy. Yeah. So we needed to bring in the bhat package. I think it's probably already in here, but we're going to go ahead and explicitly require it. Because we're probably going to get rid of that uploader bundle sooner rather than later. So we're going to need this to be a top level package anyway. All right, so it says it didn't have anything to install. However, I'm guessing composer update and composer JSON was updated. Git diff composer JSON. So because it's already installed, it doesn't have to install it, but it did actually add it as a top level dependency now for us. And same thing with composer.log. I'm guessing that just shows an updated hash. So when we finally delete the uploader bundle, we'll still have full access to this, which is kind of the goal. So let's go back to our ingest. I'm trying to keep this on time. I have 7 minutes, so it might be a little rough. So we're not doing anything with the Pristine Media just yet. I'm going to get very aggressive with the downloading here. So we have existing episode, set background image URL, set background image file, refresh from exported episode. Yeah, so I'm going to get rid of this because I don't want to spend time working on the background image hits here just for now. But we're going to copy some of this information. So we're going to do if existing episode get background image URL. So we're going to do something similar to this. I think we need to be able to say Pristine Media is nullable. Let's see here, so set Pristine Media self. So I'm going to return a string. Make sure this can be null, and if not, this Pristine Media URL return null. Okay, just so that we aren't going to try and create this. Let's go to the very top of the file here because we want to make sure that, okay, so it is nullable. Awesome. Okay, so those things are there. If we go to the ingest command now, we should say if not existing episode get Pristine Media URL, then we want to try and download it. So let's copy our information from scratch from the command side. Temp file. I'm going to get all of that information. We aren't going to do the width and height, which is nice because it's an MP3, hopefully, rather than an image. So let's see here. We're probably going to get just to the point where that we have an error running it by the time we run out of time here. We got another 4 minutes. So guzzle download, extract file name from exported episode. So let's do existing episode get media URL. So we're going to get it from the Pristine Media URL is going, or the Pristine Media is going to come from the actual media URL that we have coming from our export. We need to get the client, so let's see here. Handle, blah, blah, blah. Close handle. So this part, I was just hand waving earlier, so the response will come later. Extract file name, that's something that we actually had in here already. Because we were doing this part. So let's do, all right, so we're going to do get media URL. And then where we had file name down here, we need to use, so $original file name, $existing episode, response get headers. Why is this an error? Define variable response. Oh, so it's a typo again. There we go. All right, so it's actually going to download the file correctly. This temp file gets written into based on this fancy curl stuff that we're doing here. So it looks like it's not being used, but it is. Okay, so close. This is something we're going to have to manage somehow. So we don't need the width and height. And I'm not going to do this because we don't have to. We only need to do one of these. So in theory, this should all just work. It's not going to, of course. Generate pristine media path not found in app episode. Really? I thought we added that. I think we must have skipped that part. All right, directory. All right, so let's do, okay. So this was another bit in our scratch file. I think that was the first thing we did. This could probably be an actual instance method rather than a static method, but I'm just going to do it this way for now. So we're going to pass back episodes, the GUID, and then the file name without extension. So that's something that we needed to actually look at here. And let's do this. Or more accurately, let's do this. Not more accurately, but this is probably better. There we go. All right. And then file name without extension. Let's just do preg match because I just want to get this done. So dot and file name and matches. And then the first part is going to be the file name without the extension, and then extension, and then we will do dot, should put it back together. right, let's go back to this command. There we go. Flush. All right, that's great. So now let's do execute. All exported episodes. Let's do slice 0, 1. Nope. Doing that in the wrong spot. This episode's get all. There we go. So that should get just one episode. So when we run our import command here, our ingest command, I don't remember what it was. Ooh, fun. Unexpected episodes 427. No. Oh, awesome. All right, so it actually tried to do something, which is great-ish. So we need to bin console migrate diff. Let's open up the diff because we're going to have to make at least one change to it. So we're adding Pristine Media URL. Oof. All right, we need to remove that actually. Looks like the column type needs to be updated in our entity for content type. Pristine Media URL with height. Here we go. So we need this to be for what? We don't need these at all. We don't need the width and height at all. That was a copy and paste error. All right, so let's go ahead and make another migration. There we go. So now we're just adding the media URL, which is what we needed. Remove this little bit. Migration, migrate. All right, so we, why did it add those? This migration needs to be removed. Version. Because I was adding a bunch of stuff we didn't actually need. Okay. So let's run ingest. Is that podcast? Let's do force. Okay, URL malformed. Awesome. All right, so we're getting there. Which URL is it doing? Oof, it looks like I'm a little past my time. Let's look anyway. Let's see. So we have temp file, get media URL. So $io, right line. Huh. That's weird. Malformed URL. That's why. It's getting Pristine Media URL. All right, so it's actually downloading. And it's not actually going to do anything. So undefined property. Okay, cool. I mean, not cool, but expected. So Flysystem Asset Manager. Flysystem Asset Manager. All right, so it's using this. Which thing is it doing? So create file. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into here. So create file. It's not something we've actually mocked out. Public. All right, so we need the file system. We need the path. I don't know if we need this function. I mean, we could use this as sort of a factory method, but we can just do new file. Because we pass in the file system, we pass in the path, we pass in the content type and the content length. So I think that's all we need. We don't actually need that function. What's this doing? Expected int got string. So let's cast it to an int. And then we set this to the file's URL. Okay. This isn't actually complete because we would need to do, where's our scratch? Because we would want to do this part where we set the Pristine Media URL. So that's already there. We need to do this part. File, write from file. So write from file. File system equals. Let's see what are the things within Flysystem. Debug container, Flysystem. I don't need oneup Flysystem adapter. Let's do leak Flysystem. File system. Adapter factory, cache factory, adapter. It's 45. That's an instance of leak file system. Annotation. Type hint. All right, so I guess there is no mapping factory sort of thing here. So we'll just have to pass it in. So let's see, which ones do we actually have named? I think we had one named file system, oneup file system. Here we go. File system. Let's see. So mount, I don't really want to mount. Episode adapter. So let's call it just episodes. And we'll call this episodes as well. And this is going to use the episodes adapter alias. And let's not do a mount at all. I wonder if this is going to break other stuff now. This is the kind of annoying thing. The way the other systems are set up. Flysystem, and we'll do the trip loader. Episode file system. So let's do episodes. And this was episodes as well. But we're not doing anything with Pristine Media. But I think that might work now. Okay. URL mapping. File system. I don't really like this, but I don't really have a choice, so we'll do that. And so this is going to give me, hopefully, errors on auto wiring. Yeah, so it doesn't know how to do that, so we're going to go in now and manage settings, services. I'm hoping this is going to work like I expect. So we need the URL mapping key. And we need that to be, I'm just going to do this inline. So episodes loads.astrocast.com. And then we need the file system mapping. And that needs to point to this one here. Episodes. Let's see if this works now. No. Okay, unexpected character at line. Oh. No file system mounted with prefix episodes. All right, so let's go oneup Flysystem episodes file system. What gave that error? All right, so this is in file storage, get file system, do remove. Remove, get file system. Oh, this is on this part. Removing. Let's comment that out for now. Storage remove. Let's see if we can get to the next level. Okay, so it's downloading the media URL. Actually, now that I know that's working, let's actually do right from file. So $file system $this mapping file get file system. Can I do with that? We'll do right $file path and it's probably not the best way to do that, but whatever. All right, let's see. And I think whether this works or not, I'm probably going to be done after this. Ran a little long. All right, so something failed. Must be of type string, array given. File. Okay, ingest command 143. Array given. Get header. It's probably a better way to do that, but well, actually, let's just do this. Now this time, I mean for real. I don't think I will continue either way. I'm hoping that we can end this on it actually having downloaded. All right, so it wrote to episodes / whatever / background image, which is wrong, but I'll accept it. So let's look here. It didn't actually. Okay, so something didn't work right, but it tried to. So I'm guessing that, yeah, I don't know what happened. But essentially this directory already existed, which is why we got this far. So it was able to make up to that directory, but it didn't then also create background image / this. Let me episodes. Let's try it one more time and see if it even creates the episodes directory. I'm guessing it won't at this point. Huh. Yeah, it didn't do anything that time, which is pretty annoying. Oh, probably because in the database now, the ingest command has a Pristine Media URL. So we can probably see if that at least has something in it. So let's go to this most recent episode. Let's see, Pristine Media URL. There we go. So Flysystem, episodes. I don't really like that. It's kind of annoying. But it does show what it was trying to do, but this messed up some stuff. Okay. All right, well, it's at least trying to write into it. This is actually why it's not working. So I'm going to delete this and see if we can run it again. Anyway, I'll check it out later. So we didn't really get everything working, but I'm feeling a lot more confident about how this is working than the bundles that we had before. So I'm pretty happy about that. Thanks for joining. I will be doing a longer session again later tonight on the Astrocasts site itself. Otherwise, thank you all and talk to you soon.